So, folks, over the weekend, I was doing my reading, doing my research, trying to figure things out. What can we do? What's like another project we can throw ourselves into doing, right? And one of the things that came across my feed was a very interesting idea from the editor in chief of Talking Points Memo. He wrote an article titled "What Is to Be Done: The DOJ in Exile Edition." Now, this idea from Josh Marshall is pretty interesting and pretty basic. Okay, we're gonna get into
Lurker
this.
tax.
B for Brain, thank you for the $25 dono. That is incredibly generous. I really appreciate it.
I wanted to ban a neo-Nazi from the store I work at, but my manager refused to allow it because he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, that sucks. Next time, there are a lot of things I want to say, but it depends on your level of relative safety. So I'm not going to advise you on anything you should do or not do, but make it very clear that they are unwelcome, I guess. And back to the train of thought. All right? Which is this idea from Josh Marshall is essentially the idea of a DOJ in exile. It is the idea that because we cannot rely on the Department of Justice to actually, prosecute anyone, one of the things we should do is we should have someone somewhere or some group of people somewhere collecting all of the publicly available data and reporting on law breaking or possible law breaking into like a document or dossier of some kind. And this is something that I think we could do. Like this could be something that y'all can help me with too. We can maybe put together this group community-based effort to collate and gather all of these incidents together. I know there are a bunch of you who like feverishly doom scroll. What if you could use that power for good? What if you could put it together into like some kind of Google Doc? And the idea being that when this is all over, when inevitably there is a new Department of Justice that is going to prosecute, we hand them something like that. Here is all of your work already done for you. Go get them. And I think that that's really doable. There have been so many articles about, oh, this is illegal. That is illegal. This is illegal. Here's law breaking. And that is both for like the different governmental entities, but also for individuals in this administration. And I think that we could do something like that. I am not necessarily up on my law enough to know, but I do a lot of research. And I know you guys do too. And we could just compile a document together that is like the receipts. And at the very least, worst case scenario, it becomes like kind of a document we can use to refer to different past events and like search through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kyle Kalinske had this idea. I don't know. I don't follow Kyle Kalinske, so I don't know. I generally like his ideas and his takes, but again, don't seek them out. Again, I got this from Talking Points Memo. So yeah, I just wanted to float that out there and see if that is something you guys are interested in trying to contribute to. And like, maybe we can, maybe I'll reach out to you, Gamergy, and we'll get some like a framework going that can then be used in a broader sense. But I think that would be really good. At the very least, for us as a community to have a reference doc. And possibly in the future, that becoming more of a thing. Because, guys, by the end of this, people are not going to be remembering. Like, there are some people who don't remember the first Signal Gate already, and that was like 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, maybe. We're already on Signal Gate 2. People are going to be burned out. People are going to forget. And I think that maybe this is a way of kind of keeping these things alive in our collective memory so that there is some accountability for it when this is all done. It's just too much for some people's bandwidth. And that's absolutely true, which is why this would just be kind of like a as you can contribute type of document. Conservatives love to admit their crimes on Maine. Yeah, absolutely. It's not even 100 days yet and feels like 3 years. Yes, exactly. I know, make a wiki. I want it to be something that's relatively closed off from like folks outside of our community, just to minimize the possibility of like tampering. I don't know too much about running a wiki, but I guess this would be a community run project anyway. So, yeah, I'll chat with the mods about this and see if we can get together a tool for folks to use. I think we could do this. You can set up wikis to have designated editors. That'd be interesting. I'd help with a wiki, but I'm working on multiple sites at the moment. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. There must be groups doing this already. Vontux, that's the thing. One would think that there are, but I genuinely have no idea if anyone is doing this. I haven't heard of anyone doing this. And like the editor-in-chief of Talking Points Memo hasn't heard of anyone doing this yet. Which is why 2 days ago he proposed the idea. But like, it's I think a lot of people might be just assuming someone is, and then not many people are. There are a lot actually, but it's underground mostly. Yeah, but like that, I would prefer there to be like a more publicly viewable account of things. Mostly in small hacktivist scenes. Yeah. Let's do a little bit of a larger job. In this case, multiple efforts aren't wasted. It needs to be documented at as many places as possible. Yes, absolutely. So that was just an idea I wanted to float to you guys. Let's move on.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.